All right, so today we're going to be making some professional sheet metal patches that you should keep on your van, especially if you're a residential AC furnace tech. And this will help you out in a lot of cases when shoddy ductwork's in play, or if you need to make a patch because you're adding in something for a new install and you still want stuff to be serviced. So I'm going to show you how to make hems and how to make the stuff look good. Obviously, we're going to do what we can with this guy, but the one underneath, this is just some scrap I had laying around. So we're going to try it out, but I'm going to paint this all for you on some piece of paper. All right, so here's a game plan what we got going on. We got our sheet metal, and each of these lines, you can see I got a quarter. The whole thing around is going to be a 1/4 inch hem. And then right here in the center, this is the symbol for center, round center. And we're going to be putting a hole with using a 3/8 bit. We're going to be using a stepper bit, and it's going to be for one of these plugs. And it's important to have one of these plugs because this is going to be a hole for a patch of putting in a thermometer, for doing your delta T, or for putting in your pitot tubes if you're doing any sort of static pressure or air balancing, anything like that. So I'm drawing this all out first. Then we're going to put this on the sheet metal, and then what we're going to do is how each of these squares are on each corner, we're going to end up taking our snips, straight snips, and we're going to end up notching out each of the corners before we make our hems. And then we can either use a folding bar. There's an 18-inch folding bar if you're in the field, or I also happen to have a sheet metal brake from Harbor Freight that works out really well for what I do. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, so here we go. I got it all drawn out right now, so you can see 1/4 inch hem that goes all the way around, and ballpark 3/8. It's very important when you're making these patches, put the worst side facing up because of how wonky that is and everything. I mean, I'm gonna end up putting a cross break in this or doing something, but I'm probably not even gonna be using this. This is just for demonstration purposes. Marked my 1/4 inch hems. Here's our corner squares I was talking about on here. So when I go to cut these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little bit on the outside of the line and put a little bit of an angle, just ever so slightly. And what that's going to allow me to do is once I fold these over, both them fold over, it'll make a cleaner corner than if I was to just cut straight, and then fold. So I'm going to do that now. All right, so I skipped a step. But all I did was I went ahead and I made the cross breaks. I really only apply for those of you that have breaks. You can do it with a folding bar by putting this on the ground. Basically, you would take your folding bar, and put it from corner to corner. You do your cross breaking before you do your hems. And the reason behind that is it's just easier to do once you've already done this, and putting it on the brake also helps to flatten it out a little bit if you do a little too much of a cross break. So you can take this, you can kneel on the bar, and then you can lightly lift up and then flip the bar to do this line. And again, the same thing, pull up a little bit, but I have the brake, so I use the brake. The next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing our hems. So we'll take this back over, and again, we're going to have our mark side up, because again, this is what we want people to see. And I mean, you can see it's not the greatest, so I mean, this is probably not going to get used, but yeah, and there you can see the corners too. They're kind of on an angle, so you'll see once I have these folded, it'll look pretty good. Not the best, but we're going to make some other things too, and probably might even use that bead roller there to make stuff. But yeah, so let's make these hems. All right, so if you've done all your folds correctly, it should look something like this. You can see the hem. This is the back side, by the way. This is what you won't see. But if you look closely how I did these corners, see that one too. Come on, focus. Focus. Okay, not focusing. If you see how I did it, I had done this one and this one second. These guys I did first. And the reason I did that was so when I went to fold these, that it would help to close it and keep it all packed down. And you see on the corners here, that's the reason why we cut it out on an angle. Because if we went and did it straight, it would bind up and it just wouldn't look as good as it could. So now for the final reveal, obviously I got to drill the hole still, but for the final reveal, that's what it looks like. So it looks pretty good. It's way cleaner. So obviously if you had a nice piece of metal that wasn't all beat up and everything, this would look pretty dang good on the customer's ductwork. Sometimes they notice it, sometimes they don't, but it's always worth doing your best work. So yeah, now we'll go into some other methods of making patches. All right, so the next type of patch we're going to do, instead of doing the hems and the cross break, is we're going to use this bead roller with some flanging dies. So I have this set up so that your finished work is always down, and that way you can draw and see everything on the top, and when you run this through this guy, it'll create a little flange similar to, I was doing some practice stuff, similar like these guys. So the idea is I marked it out 1 inch on all sides, and the way I did that was using the 1 inch side on the folding bar. So you put it on each side, make a mark, put it down on each side, make a mark, so on and so forth. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this through this guy, and what I'm looking for is where the line is right there. You can see it, how it lines up there. That's what I'm looking for, and I'm going to do it on all sides. So I'm going to get all these done and show you the final product. So after running through it on all sides, I mean, it's dirty sheet metal again, but you can kind of see what we're getting. So this is the flanged portion, so it kind of looks cool. Depends on what you're going for. If you're doing stuff that's going to be seen by customers, this can be pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and actually throw a cross break on here, and I'm going to experiment and see what that looks like. But this is the back side, so you can see my lines weren't all the straightest. There's a scrap piece I had laying around, but yeah, I'm going to throw a cross break on this and see what it looks like.